speakers, and they are all wonderfully here to give us detailed analysis on what AI design is all about. So our topic will be on design, thinking, AI dynamics, innovation, driven economy, and effective policy intervention. Now, you see, the topic is a bit somehow not explained. So that is why they are here to dive in and explain more about the topic. So we all know that AI is evolving, right? And so far, we know that AI has a lot to offer. Yeah. So now we're going to know, what has AI, how has AI now, what is the AI adoption in Nigeria? So far, we are going to know, okay, yes, we know that AI is here and it has come to stay, whether we like it or not. So these experts are going to dive in, okay, how are we going to look at this AI? How are we going to work with this AI in our working place, in our organizations and everything? So we are going to start with you, sir. Professor Paul is going to tell us now, how is AI adoption now in Nigeria? And what is the level of AI do we have in Nigeria as a whole? Please go ahead, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to congratulate Uche and Uche for this initiative. Very great initiative. You are doing very well. I can see that. I didn't know that you have this great level of interactions and engagement. So congratulations, Uche. Let me say this. AI, you're talking about human intelligence in machines. That's basically what they say. So it's good, but it's innovation. And innovation is worth. Innovation is, for me, as a scholar, I have defined innovation as strategic implementation or profitable implementation of strategic creativity. Number one. Number two, I see it as commercialization of useful product, service, or process. So innovation is creativity plus delivery. So if it doesn't get to the market, it's not innovation. Innovation must get to the market. And so it's important for us to see how the world is evolving. Young people are doing great. I'm happy to see young people, engineers calling from Berlin and doing that. So AI is important. There are a lot of fears about AI because people are scared that it will replace human beings. So in fact, in the US, Elon Musk and these guys are talking about slowing down on AI to see how it. In Nigeria, in a labor-driven economy. Economy is more of people. So if you do AI, the implication is that probably a lot of people will not be jobless and the insecurity will increase. So we may probably be looking at it from that perspective. But nonetheless, it's a very great idea to have AI applications in running our businesses. It makes things more seamless. Somebody asked a question, a lady asked a question about how do we hybrid system, operations. Companies are today, people are working from home and then you can't monitor the people. I think AI will help you do that. In our school, people write exams from Lagos who are doing master's or PhD program. And what do you do? Webcam and all that. These are forms of that. We are thinking of improving on all this kind of system to make things better. Essentially, so AI will make things easy for you. It creates, productivity to the highest level. The essence of innovation is higher level of productivity. And so I believe that AI, we need to explore the possibility of making it work better for everybody. In that way, the economy will become better. You can see, let me conclude by saying this. Today, in 2018 or so, 2009, if you look at the global, 20% of top companies in the world was oil and gas. Oil and gas billionaires were more in 2009. In 2018, you have about more of tech guys as billionaires. So I have to tell you that the world has shifted to internet economy, which is digital economy. So I think that's where we are right now. So the young people are embracing it. So whether government or no government, they'll move on. So that is the point. So you guys are on the right track. I believe that the future of our country, the future of the world is in tech. And so we are moving in the right direction. AI, we have to explore it. Thank you very much. That's my beginning comment.
Please, a round of applause for him. Okay, he has rightly said that AI is evolving and the future of tech is now. So moving on to Engineer Yugaba, our Nitida person here. Please, sir, can you tell us how can design thinking be integrated into AI development to foster innovation in the tech industry?
Okay, thank you very much. And once again, we'd like to congratulate the organizers for this program. And we hope the program will continue to grow to provide a good platform for innovators, makers, and other people so that they can contribute to Nigerian economy. Well, okay, whenever we talk about, let me start from design thinking itself. Whenever we talk about design thinking, the first thing or the first word normally we just capture is empathy. And of course, empathy is about what? It's about the customer or whoever we're designing for, right? So, which means you follow this person, you understand what he really needs. You don't want to go and develop a system just thinking that, okay, it will solve someone's problem, and then by the time you're done, you put it before the person and you say, no, this is not what I'm expecting, or this is not what I want. So design thinking, and not just in business, even in our normal lives, we use design thinking to come up with innovation, to come up with solution to problems. So if we look at it from the perspective of policy, like for us from government comes up with regulation, whatever we're doing in the tech industries, in the finance, everywhere, we must regulate so that people will do the right thing that will benefit everybody. So if we take design thinking, not just on AI, any innovation, anything, right? So what we're doing in government now, we're adopting design thinking, whether we say it or not. Yeah, because now we're going into co-creation. We come up with policies using co-creation. We work with who are the stakeholders these regulations are going to affect. And one very good example is the Nigerian Startup Act, which, of course, I think in the history of this country, probably is one of the bills that within just a year or so, it went through all the process and eventually it was enacted, it becomes a law, the Nigerian Startup Act. So how do we get this success? Through co-creation, right? The government worked with the ecosystem players. Yeah. So a lot of back and forth, understanding what is needed, because this regulation is going to affect these people. So we know the best way is to co-create with them. They lead the process, and eventually we came up with a law that I believe everybody is happy. We're still in the process of the implementation. So this is what we're talking about. When we bring design thinking into policy making, then most likely the success rate will be much higher than whatever. So like Prof has said a lot on AI. AI is here. It's one of the bulls in the tech industries. And it's not just a fact, really. We've seen it. It's transforming things. It's changing things. We know of ChatGPT. That's the coming up of the large language models. Really. So now we are even moving instead of coming with different models for all sort of problems. Now we're coming with large language models, which you can prompt. Prompting means like you instruct the model to do something specific for you. So it's not just about writing. Now people are using it. In fact, there's a situation whereby a company, some people set up a company, and the CEO of the company is ChatGPT. ChatGPT now is the one that provide all the strategic direction for that company to move forward. So we're seeing now really is going into almost everything. And to me, the fear is not about AI replacing us or maybe taking our jobs. Of course, there will be job displacement. So the only thing is for us to reskill, to upskill. Like, of course, we've seen the last fire chat with Chidera. Look at how he moved, right? He didn't see any constraint. I was just talking to my DGA representative. You're saying, okay, this guy started with feature phone, right? He was not talking about funding and so on. He was looking at the possibilities before him, and he exploited that to grow. So the same thing with AI. It's a very important tool for us. We can key in different way. And it doesn't matter whether you're a tech guy, you are in the finance, or you are in the art and so on. As we know, all these large language models, they even do art for us. They do all sorts of things. So they provide huge opportunity. And because of this, of course, we have the ethical aspect of AI. We know about that. And it's a really, really double-edged sword. So that's why government feel we have to start working with the ecosystem. And for that also, NIDA has worked with the ecosystem people and the ministry, of course. We've been working on the AI policy. And that one too is another co-creation. So we're not just sitting in the office and we say, okay, let's come up with regulation for this. No, we worked with experts, stakeholders. Probably some of you were part of the process. I know people from all over the country contributed. It's still in the process, but it's almost done. So all this, the AI strategy is coming, as our honorable minister has mentioned. So we see the potential here. So that's why tech design thinking, co-creation, we're talking of co-creation. So come up with policies that will drive this sector, that will make AI so that we can get the benefit of AI. Because from all indication, if we decide to be left behind, we're going to miss a lot. Because now the projection is a couple of $3 trillion will be added to the global GDP. And definitely Nigeria must take a chunk of this. So, and that means we have to start from regulation, whatever process we're doing. And we have to be people-centered. So that's why design thinking always comes in this. Whether we call it design thinking or whatever we call it, definitely the first thing is, who are the customers? Who are the stakeholders? We put them, we bring them, we co-create together so that we come up with something that will be acceptable to everybody and will benefit the nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so if you have any questions, please jot them down. After this section, we'll take all questions. So moving over to Mr. Uche. Sir, this question is for you. So in what way has AI already impacted the dynamics of various industries? And how can this be leveraged for economic growth?
All right, thank you very much. First and foremost, sitting on the existing protocol, let me once again say very well done to Uche for a beautiful job done. And so we'll start. I would like to actually start by, I was just thinking through this and I was saying to myself that John McCarthy would probably be wondering who arguably is said to be the father of AI, will be wondering, I'm sure by the time he was creating AI, he didn't know what he was going to be bringing into existence. But I'm sure that wherever he is now, he'll be wondering if this is really what he was thinking about. So we'll just go back to the basis. For us, you can't, when we talk about AI, we all know that we can't work with AI without technology. Technology remains the backbone and the propeller of AI. And for us in the tech industry, in the telecommunication industry, I think we will say that we are the most beneficial of AI because everyone that want to use AI will want to use technology. And of course, you all know that Airtel as a company remains one of the most leading telecommunication company when it comes to technology-driven and innovation. Data-centric, if you have me say that, permit me to also say that. Now, when you look at how does AI affect industries, today a lot of, I saw something recently in the UK, there were a lot of orders from a fast food industry, and the customers were complaining that the food weren't coming, and we saw a technology-driven movement that took food from the fast food industry, home to home, and this robot is able to identify movements. When you block that robot that has ordered for that food, he can't release that food to you, and so that's the power of AI. So, what we take an individual for, let's say, 4 hours to do, you see this robot, dishing out these meals maybe in 40 minutes. What will take 4 hours to do, this robot is taking 40 minutes to get those things delivered. And then you see that there is a lot more reduction on the footfall of those areas, and then there is more of income coming in. While you have reduction on the footfall of that industry, you have more income coming into that industry with less, just like my friend has said, yes, the labor will be reduced, but there will be more effective, income and revenue that will be generated by this organization. And like what we're also seeing today, just over the news, we heard that the Minister for Interior was asking that those in charge of our passport should deliver our passport within 2 weeks. And we just heard that passport has all been cleared in less than 7 days. Of course, he was also interviewed and he said technology was also involved in all of these driven effects. So you could see that this AI is something that would drive not only, the private industry, will also drive the public industry, will also drive the government. A lot more things will a lot more processes will begin to take place beyond the private industries, even in the government industries and the public industries. And then when you look at companies that are also driven, that are drawing manpowers, they will bring in this AI to ensure that those people who are for instance, let's say the automobile industries, those people who are, in charge of those automobile industries, the AI will come in to actually give them some kind of leverage. Some of these engineers, they are working and they don't really understand how is the process, and sometimes you see there are mistakes, towards the process of those things that are being done. The AI will come in and place a very thorough process where, as you try to put all of these things together, you will need to go back and look at what the AI has been able to program and say, this is the way to go about it. So I think that generally, in conclusion, the AI today will drive our industries 5 times or 10 times beyond our imagination that we're thinking of. Thank you.
It's a privilege to be here once again, and I would also like to stand on the existing protocol. So, talking about AI and policies, right, we have to understand, beginning first, is technology, right? And then AI is not here to take our jobs. It's here to enhance the way we do our business, right? So we work in technology company, right? We provide software for people to do your business day in, day out. Now, when you look at AI in this capacity to allow you to enhance, optimize the way you do your business, so which means you can make more informed decisions with the data you have. You can actually use AI to do calculated risk, take calculated risk. So a good example would be, for example, now this is probably my second time in Port Harcourt, and I would like to write an article about Port Harcourt. Now, for me to do that, I would need to walk all around Port Harcourt, speak to each individual. Okay, what is your opinion about this, about that? However, most of this information, they're already available on the internet. So what I can do, I can just go to my writer, instruct my AI to give me some summary about Port Harcourt. And now, what will take me about 24 hours or 48 hours, I can get it done in less than 2 minutes. Now, I can use the next 20 minutes to proofread what the AI has generated for me, go through it, put in my own data, okay, this is not correct, this is right, and then sort it out immediately. It will reduce your productivity time by almost 70%. Now, speaking from sales perspective as well too, you're trying to sell something, you're trying to understand the market here, the market strategy to enter into a particular domain. Now, to do that, you probably need to sit down and analyze data one after the other, one after the other. Imagine what you can do when you can just open a chat button and chat with a particular AI. Okay, can you give me summary of this and this and this? What is this versus this will give me? It will go through your data record and optimize the way you do your business. Now, people that normally say AI is here to take your job, would think of calculator. Maybe 200 years ago, 150 years ago, or even 50 years ago, we have human calculators. Now you have to write 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. Then you do Roman numerals. I think I did that in primary school, where you have to do and cancel and cancel. But now everybody's using a mobile phone that has a calculator. Now, are you not doing the same calculation? What happens? We evolved as human beings. We evolved. So which means we are no longer reduced to the minimal level of doing 2 + 2. We can do a lot of calculations with the technology that we have available. So when you look at AI in that perspective, you can also see that I would need to evolve. So the kind of job you get 10 years ago is no longer available. Might not be relevant today. So AI is already taking its place. We have to now evolve and then do complex things. Imagine spending hours writing an article where you can do it with 5 minutes. So you can actually go out and actually get the job done automatically. And when it comes to policy making, I think we should commend the government, because I think now they are taking interest in technology and how it's impacting our life, the way we live. And like he said, we should look at it from the product's perspective. What is the essence of this thing? And when the policymakers also, when they are aware of the benefits of this technology, this innovation, I think they will be forced to key into that and help us grow and build a community that is safe and digitally safe for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. To my audience, I hope you guys are learning something, yeah? Please, can I get a positive feedback? I hope we are learning something. All right, so to my speakers, please, we just have I'm going to ask every one of you one question each, and you're just going to answer me within 1 minute. We are fast spent on time here. So moving over to Sir, Engineer Sir. Okay, so Sir, this question is for you, yeah? From a policy perspective, what are the main challenges in regulating AI and ensuring ethical AI adoption in the economy? Please, sir, 1 minute.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, okay, the most important and or maybe the main challenge is just getting the right data. We've been trying to know what people are doing. Maybe within institutions it's a bit easier, but companies, at times, maybe they don't want to give you some important data we use to shape our regulation activities and so on. But definitely, whatever it is, this ethical issue is something we cannot just allow to go because there is so much. And that is why, if you recall, from NIDA, the project was carved out and now it becomes a commission, the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. So we work with them to ensure that whatever we do, because AI is all about data. So, and this data at times is personal or they are sensitive data. So these are some of the first things we look at, but we're still working with different organizations. That's from the center, the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. So we're trying to get as much data as possible from all players in the sectors. AI is still nascent in Nigeria, it's just coming up. So, but still again, we are trying to get as much information so that we can steer regulations, policies, and so on, so that they become very effective and they make this tool useful to Nigerians and not destructive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, please, this question is for you, sir. So what role does education and workforce development play in supporting AI-driven innovation?
Education is quite important. That's the most important thing. People are the most important asset in a country. And the more people get educated, the more wealth the country creates. The problem we have in Nigeria is that a lot of people are half-educated. Now, the beautiful thing that's happening in Nigeria today is that the young people today, maybe they are street smart in terms of what some of the things that we are hearing here. It may not be what we are teaching in the classroom as such, but they are connected. Okay, so like the young man that the lady interviewed, the way he has moved on, and he's scaling, he's making a lot of progress educationally. It may not be formal as such in terms of within a classroom system. He's an engineer anyway, but some of the things he has learned, he said he used a feature phone and then he developed and then he evolved. So the point is that education is critical. There must be a nexus. There must be a connection between what we are doing in the classroom and what we are doing here. Now, the concept about innovation is about what? Think big, start small, and scale fast. Okay, so that is very important. Think big, start small, and scale fast. And so it's important for people to know that, see, if you have high aspiration entrepreneurs, high impact entrepreneurs, you have people they look at Flutter Wave, look at most of the company, Abeg, most of the Money Point and all that. They are doing more business and so on, like most of the banks. They are fintech. And so what is really going on is that these guys start big. I'm happy because in Port Harcourt, this kind of concept is very important. In Lagos, it's like they have the majority of the things happening in Lagos. And they are making a lot of progress. Money Point, for instance, make 12 billion turnover a month or so. And so how did they get that? A microfinance bank is a concept of what? Think big, start small, and what? Scale fast. So the point is that's education. We build business model here. We redesign business model. And that's the starting point. I don't know whether the ecosystems also do that. So we can come together with what you guys are doing here. The school can work together with you guys and give our own perspective. For instance, within 6 months, you can build a business plan that you can go and look for money anywhere. That's what we do for you. We call it capstone project. So education is critical, and it can turn around this economy. This economy can grow faster. Today, we're an economy of $500 billion. But with tech, well deployed and government policy investing in R&D, I can tell you this economy can move to $1.5 trillion. China economy was $500 billion in 1998. In 3 years, China moved to $1.5 trillion. Today, China is challenging America. $19 trillion economy. America is afraid. Today, they are trying to war against China because of the way China is progressing. Why? It's education. It's technology theft. They steal intellectual property right from America. Because when the company go there, they steal it from them. It's education. There's a convergence that's taking place. And so it's important for us to do a convergence with Lagos. Port Harcourt has to do converge. And what we have to do is that people have to be aggressive about it. We don't need to be laid back. We want to do that. If Port Harcourt can come very strong, like Lagos, you know what will happen? You don't need government to survive. We move on without government. Without government, there is a lot of corruption in government today. How much that is the budget of government? How much is Fluta with? $3 billion? The biggest bank in Nigeria is GT Bank and Zenith. $1 billion. 60% higher, bigger than the banks. The physical bank with branches all over the place. Fluta is bigger than them. So that is it. And you guys can create that. It's just to think big, start small, and scale fast. That's my point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. Please, let's be conscious of time. Okay, moving over to Mr. Kainde, sir. Please, sir, can you tell us what role do you see in AI playing in startups and small businesses in the economy?
Thank you very much for that question. Like he said, the professor said, scalability, right? You think big, you start small, and you scale fast. Now, when you think big and you start small, it might take a while before you can actually scale. Now, imagine as a startup community, maybe you only have 2 members from your team. You have to go out and think about the ideas. You have to develop it. You need to approach people. You have to pitch. Because idea is only good when you can actually say it and present it to other people. Now, you're spending your time to do that. When do you think of the business part of it? Or what are you making? Can you make sense of the data you have? So AI is an important part of your business development. When you can just instruct the machine that will give you what you need in a split of a second, that will give you enough time. So you can scale really fast. And you can even save a lot of money, right? Instead of you employing 10 people to do certain things, you can just save money, employ one person, pay for a particular software that will get that done for you. So scalability, and also you reduce your operational costs drastically with the use of technology and AI.
Thank you. Okay, so lastly, Mr. Uche, can you tell us how can public and private sectors collaborate effectively to harness AI for the economy?
Thank you so much. First and foremost, like Prof had said, there is a lot of untapped resources that is still waiting for us, to grab. He made mention of money points. I'm guessing like 3 years ago, we didn't hear about money points. 3 years ago, we didn't know about OPay. And today, I'm sure that every other person has an account. And today, there's also an emerging fintech that is coming up. And I'm not sure a lot of people here knows about Smart Cash PSB. And that's another opportunity that's in the private sector. A lot of opportunities are bound, that we can use from the private sector. Giving an example of what I mean by the Smart Cash PSB Bank, which is powered by Airtel today. There is a lot of opportunities that can be derived, just having understanding of what can I even do, using tapping from this company or from this fintech. If you look at the collaboration between the telecom companies and NCC today, you will see a lot of things that has come to play, a lot of things that has come into play. Before now, you can always walk into anywhere and pick up a SIM card and then make a call and threaten anyone. But today there is a government policy that has come to play and say, look, before you can get a SIM, a registered SIM, you must be able to have an NIN. You must be able to use your NIN. And so that your NIN becomes infused into that line, and then it's domiciled in NCC's central bank, and then also domiciled in the telecommunication central bank. So any crime that is being committed with that line can be traced to that particular person. And that is where AI will be coming. In a few years to come, you might not really need to get your NIN. All you just need is probably just a fingertip or a voice note, and then it's somewhere in the in the cloud or waiting, so that the moment a crime is being committed, all they just need to do is to call up that voice note, because people could still bypass the NIN route. But I am sure that with the AI coming in place, the public sector, the government, will be looking at how do we harness this opportunity, bringing the private sector into play. Because whether we like it or not, the private sector holds, a lot of contributions that the public sectors are doing. Without the private sector, in fact, without the small scale industries, there is nothing. We don't have an economy. So that is why we are also saying that the private sector, SMEs that are here, we need to, look at how can I leverage currently on AI? What can I actually do with AI to, move my business, like what Prof has said, from that little scale point, to the higher point, just like what has happened. Without technology, I'm not sure that Money Point or OP, would have been where they are today. But with the technology that has come into play, and that is why for us in the telecom industry, we are saying to ourselves, we are the one housing all of this technology. We can do all of this. The small scale industry, the public sectors are using the information that are available to us, to generate revenue, to generate funds, for the government. And we are saying to ourselves, from the private sector, we have this information. We can also use it to generate the funds and also use it to empower small scale industry. And that is why today you could see a lot of small scale industries has come into play using the technologies that we have put in place for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope we all understood what we've shared today, right? Okay, so if you have any questions you would like to ask any of our speakers here, or maybe you just want to ask them individually a question, please signify. We're just going to take 2 questions here. We're out of time here.
All right, I'll pick randomly. Okay.
Thank you so much to our wonderful speakers. My question is for Engineer Garba. It's always a delight hearing the progress of the government. So my question is, in the development of the AI policy, knowing that children are also users of these digital innovations as well, to what extent is that considered in the development of this AI policy, not just in terms of their protection rights now, but also in terms of participation, because we know that it will only continually increase, that children will also take part, utilize these technologies. Thank you. So that's my question. I don't know if it's clear.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Definitely this is a big concern for all parents. And one thing I know very well, most of those that contributed, the experts, the people that work on that, mostly were parents and so on. But part of that policy, in fact, a big chunk of it talks about this issue of ethics in AI. And anyway, whenever you're talking of AI, this ethics comes because there is a lot in it and so on. So there is a whole chapter on it, and it specifies all those things that I think are relevant in terms of protection of minors within this area and so on. So I really like to say, yeah, we've really done so much. And by the time the document becomes public, still we'll be eliciting people's feedback and so on. You will see. So I'm sure if you have any concern, you might even decide to channel it. But for now, I assure you, yes, a lot has been done on those ethical sides. And I'm sure it will cover most of those concerns for minors and so on. Because the technologies that are coming from this AI realm, it covers everybody. Kids, especially in learning, schooling. AI is being used in education heavily, and its usage will only increase. Especially now, people are choosing other methods for education. Now recently, NUC award licenses for even online universities. And those kind of universities, they are highly tech-driven. And so they are going to use a lot of these technologies. And Prof was mentioning that when they have people remotely taking tests or exams and so on, AI is being used for monitoring and so on. So those things really, they are into consideration. And I think as the landscape changes, of course, we'll be adapted because this technology landscape changes. And so we will also be constantly changing to follow that things. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
All right, so we'll be taking the last question.
Okay. I saw a male's hand up. Okay. Don't worry, we'll take one more question, but it's from a pupil, and I'll read that out.
All right.
Thank you very much. So I want to ask about the tech dependency of all the things we've been talking about. So we have the AI, we have the softwares and everything. But however, I'm worried about how much we are depending on foreign technology. For example, our telecommunications, they depend on imported phones. Everyone uses imported phones. To be on the net, we are using imported laptops. And this is something we don't pay attention to in Nigeria. So we have a worst case scenario where if the internet goes down, say for any reason someone drops a bomb on the US, we are out. We are black. We can't connect. Our AI-dependent systems and businesses are off. Everyone is stuck. Power goes out. And where does that leave us as a nation? So I want to ask about how we are thinking of handling the hardware issue that we have. How do we bring it home such that we have phones, we have devices, we have everything so that Nigeria can at least, even if it's not up to 50%, at least 10%, 20%, be independent of foreign support. Why am I concerned about it? Because there are ideologies and beliefs that these foreign interests represent that might not be acceptable to our culture. And these things can easily be pushed in through AI. For example, you can ask any ChatGPT or one of them about what they believe on any of these issues, and they will easily teach your child, whom you're not supervising, what you wouldn't want him or her to know. So, I am worried because we are depending on them too much. I want a place where Nigeria, we can run on our own. Not 100%, we can still import. But we cannot be, look around. We have so many things making this place possible. But I'm sure the camera is imported. I'm sure the mic is imported. I'm sure those lights are imported. I'm sure the screens are imported. How do we solve that problem?
Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Okay, let me just quickly make an intervention to your question. First of all, you are very correct because today, 90% of global platforms are domiciled to China and US. About 60% of global platforms are American. Talk about Twitter, talk about Apple, talk about, so most of them are there. Then China, Alibaba, and all that is there. So you are correct. But how did China get to this point is through what? SPVs, working with the foreign companies from the US and from the Europe to set up those companies in their countries, and then they learn technology from there. So we have a policy guy here from NICTAD, so it's good for us to know that it's important for us to change our methodology in working with foreign companies. Methodology is that let them come here, not just come to set up their company. Let us have part ownership of those companies, and let them produce the things here. Then let this market be the export market. I mean, if we do that, we stabilize our currency, which is, very shaky and giving a lot of problems. And then we can also begin to have a system where your concerns can be handled. China has all that, vis-a-vis America. Europe has fallen short quite significantly because of this same problem. So I think the government policy will solve this problem. The government policy needs to shift. Their investment in R&D has to increase. We are not investing in R&D. Last 2 years, America invested $200 billion in innovation to challenge China. So how much is the government spending on that? It's not much. There must be a case. I'm happy with the Bosun that is the new communication minister. He's quite savvy. So I believe that he would quite a lot to make that happen. But I think it's something that need to be looked at very closely. You are very correct. If anything happens, we are just on a free fall. So I think that should be handled very quickly. Thank you.
Right. Just one more question and we're done. And this question is coming from a pupil of Niger Delta Science School, Rumola. And he said, and he's asking, how do we involve Nigerian children in AI creation?
Okay, okay, let me take that question if it is okay with everybody.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, I think we really take this AI stuff very serious. So that's why NIDA, that's through the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, have been running programs. Like, for instance, we have the NIDA AI developer training. Currently, it's taking place in Abuja because it's a physical training. But already we're planning to start having the programs in the different states. Now we are trying to pilot in a state in each of the geopolitical zone. And these are programs we run. There's no limitation to the age of the person. We take 4 weeks training, giving them grounding in Python. Of course, we know Python is the language of data science. Then we do intermediary, where we start introducing them to AI-related activities. And so far now, we've trained over 1,000 students, and some of them, they come blank, knowing nothing. And this ages ranges from 15 upward and so on. And a lot of them now, they are doing great. Some have started their companies. Some have gotten jobs and so on. And some of them, even they are coming back to help us in the facilitation, because we have a theme which we call learn, teach, and earn. So we give them some honorarium. So we pilot that in Abuja, because of course we're starting, so definitely we have to see how it goes. But now we're moving to the state we're starting. And apart from that, we have other programs. We do boot camps. And I don't know, I'm sure we did one September here in Port Harcourt with in University of Port Harcourt. We did what we call the STEM boot camp for kids. We introduce kids to all these basic technologies: STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I'm sure some of us here must have attended the program. It was just a month or so back here at University of Port Harcourt. We did it in Lagos before, and we had it in different places. And those are specifically targeted on young people, kids in mostly age 8 to 16, I think. Why? Because we're trying to inspire them so that they take interest in this technology. So we are doing a lot. And now also, with the new minister, if you look at his roadmap, still there's that issue of building the talent. We're looking at 3 million or so and so on. So we have programs, and I think it's good to follow us, definitely. Normally, the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics is the arm of NIDA that's doing these activities. So you can follow us and see the kind of programs we're having. And you can as well suggest. Like we said, we're talking about co-creation. If you think there's a way we can make it better, we'll be happy to hear from you. But in a nutshell, what I'm saying, we're doing some programs and we're trying to scale them so that we can have them all over the country, so that pupils like you that are interested in AI and other emerging technologies can start following the track, and we see how we can help you. So I hope that solves the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for listening to this section. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, so we've come to an end of this panel section.